everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Peaches from Lovers for Healthy Life, and it's been about 2 weeks since I did a video, and I want to show you some of the volunteer flowers that are growing in my garden and vegetables and some of the new things that I planted. So come along with me and let's have some fun. Well guys, I have my garden gear on, I have my hat to block the UV rays, and I also have on my scarf, cover my hair. I usually wash my hair like every other day, so I can kind of keep it nice in between time. And also I have on long sleeves here because if you didn't know, if you've been following me a while, you know we have ticks here because we live in the woods. So let me just pan around so I can show you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start right here on the entrance to my raised bed garden. What I've done is I've connected the raised bed garden to the row garden, and I just like the fact that I can just go from one garden to the next. I showed you the dwarf apple trees growing here and here, and I'm so excited that right here growing on my arbor are my Tez roses. And look what we have here. We have roses or rose blooms that have already set up, and I had no idea I was gonna get roses this year. It's such a beautiful flower. And there's some blooms on this side as well, and I'm so happy I chose this flower to grow up this arbor. This is a romantic rose. It has a beautiful sort of red tone to it with black currant mixed in there, and so it's not too red, and so it will mix perfectly with other colors and lavenders when I make my flower arrangements. So I'm so happy I chose this particular rose, and it's perfect for weddings and different things like that. Okay, so as we walk through the arbor, most of the fruit trees on the side I've already mentioned, and the flowers. And this was a Mother's Day flower right here from my daughter. And so this is a new arbor right here. This will be the 4th arbor, and this is loofah. The loofahs that I showed you in our last video that I grew indoors. So I planted the loofah to grow up this arbor. I planted the other loofah on this side. As we walk toward the 3rd arbor, I have here from last year some raspberries that I planted in this tiny wine barrel planter, and then my grapes that are growing along this arbor. And we actually have grapes that are growing, tiny little grapes on both sides. It flowered initially, and then these bunches of grapes started growing. Let me see if I can show you a nice bunch of grapes. That looks like a nice bunch right there. And on the other side, I have another raspberry that's growing. Okay, and as we walk through my last and 4th arbor here, then you'll see my Oriental Lilies that I have in these planters, and I love this color. Now this is almost the color of the Tez rose, kind of like a red hint with a currant color. So it's not really red, but it's more like deep burgundy with a hint of a black currant in these Oriental lilies. And then at the bottom I have some sedum that's growing, and on this side they're growing. Now I planted this planter 2 years ago, I believe in 2017, and I planted one lily in each planter, and it's doubled in size every year. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different flowers growing, and I think it may be growing out of this container. So I'm going to have to maybe try to remove some of the flowers and maybe transplant them someplace else. And right over here is my cutting garden, and it's doing fabulous. I already have zinnias that are growing, and this is a new zinnia I planted this year. This is a peppermint zinnia. So the zinnias are starting to fill out this little cut garden I have here, and as they fill out, I'll start to cut and make arrangements with them to bring indoors, which is the ideal of a cut garden. And right back here is a kiwi plant, and I have another kiwi on the other side. And the kiwi I just planted here. I was going to put it on an arbor, but I decided just to plant it here next to the fence because it can grow up the fence and spread sort of like in a T. Because I did look up how kiwis grow, and they kind of grow up and then out, so hopefully it'll do okay here. May have to move it though, not 100% sure. So here's the other side of my cutting garden, and the zinnias are coming in nicely. I kind of planted the zinnia and spaced them a little bit so they wouldn't get so crowded this year if I wanted to add something else. And back here up against that fence is a grapevine that's going to be growing up the fence here. More zinnias. And I have my little shy owl here who's turning the opposite way. His head spins in the wind, so I thought he was really cute, and hopefully it'll help keep some of the squirrels away from my garden. And back over there in the back is another kiwi that I'm going to plant to grow along the fence, and a little baby hydrangea that hopefully will get bigger, and more of my zinnias that I planted. My hubby is here bringing my pallet for my bike, my exercise bike. I'm going to start doing my exercises out here, maybe doing some videos of me exercising. And I'm really excited about being able to exercise outdoors in my garden. So you want to move it back maybe just a little bit. Which way you think it should go?
Yeah, I think this side's better. This gives you a lip.
Let me move these out the way. So I kind of want it under the umbrella.
Hey, no.
And there's my dog Midnight wondering what's going on. Say hi, Midnight. Say hi in the camera. Say hello. Say hello.
I just want to lick it.
You're not licking my camera, Midnight. And you're not going to eat my only pomegranate. Okay, you can go now. Midnight, Midnight. Come on. Come on, Midnight.
So you just want the one, right?
Yeah, just one for now.
This will hold about 1,500 pounds.
It will?
Mm-hmm.
So now I just have to get a bike cover, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So as we walk through my fourth arbor into my raised bed garden, the last video you saw beautiful roses growing, and this particular rose I believe is a blazing rose, and it only blooms in the spring and again in the fall, so it'll be blooming again in the fall. And we come to my little flower garden here in the entryway of my raised bed garden, and I have the hydrangeas that are growing so nicely. Coneflowers haven't came out yet, nor the phlox, but we do have blooming the hydrangeas, and they are so pretty, and I love the colors. It's like a mixed color of lavender and also some pinks right there. This banana tree that I showed you in my last video is doing really well, and this is one of the banana trees that I transplanted, and look how good it's doing. It's doing really well. Right here is another sitting area in my raised bed garden, and I'm going to be adding more flowers that I'm growing in my she shed. I'm going to be bringing them out here, and this is I believe it's some type of citrus tree that's growing right here, and more strawberries, and one of the banana pups that I transplanted over here, and more strawberries over here. This is what I wanted to show you. Look at this beautiful, beautiful zinnia. Now I thought this was at first a sunflower, but it's not. It's actually a zinnia. And I'm gonna have to maybe put a little tie around here because I don't want the blooms to fall like that. But it's a beautiful zinnia, and it came up all by itself. And it seems like the zinnias that are volunteers, they look so much better than the ones I planted. And here's another banana pulp that I actually planted in the earth, and more citrus right here. I believe this is the one that, yeah, this is the one I showed you in my last video that I grew by seed. And this right here is a tomato plant that I planted, and more volunteer zinnias and volunteer mustard greens, and another tomato plant that I planted. And right here is a moringa tree that I planted, and hopefully it'll start growing and getting bigger. And these are a couple of grapevines I have growing against the back side of my fence, and I wanted to show you some of these grapes. These are already getting larger. And look at this peppermint. You know what? This peppermint is wild peppermint, but it smells so nice. And matter of fact, I'm gonna pick some and make some tea today. And I'm not gonna pull it up. I mean, my husband cuts it up. When my husband mows the lawn, it grows all over our property. But right here inside my raised bed garden, I get to keep it. So I'm gonna let it grow wild just like that, and it's growing on the back side of the fence. It's kind of wild looking, but it smells nice. And there's another banana pup that I transplanted, and there's another banana pup. Not sure what I'm gonna plant in this bed. Haven't decided yet. And over here in this circular raised bed, I planted out some eggplants that seem to be being attacked by some little black bugs. They're so annoying. And I still have some that I still have to plant out, but hopefully they'll recover from the attack. I have no idea. I've been spraying this organic neem oil to try to get rid of them. They don't seem to like the oil too much, but I don't know. These are my eggplants. I have 3 varieties of eggplants that I'm planting out. I have Rotunda and Pandora, and also I have Fairy Tale. So I have 3 different types of eggplants. More oregano over here. This right here is my other pomegranate tree, and more citrus right there. More figs and another banana tree. This particular one had the mama in the middle, and I removed the other pups. And this is another fig tree that has tiny little figs. Yay! This is another banana pup right here. And right here, this trellis is my very first trellis. It used to be like a magazine rack, and I first started growing cucumbers on this back in 2014. So you can go back and see a video way back then. And I'm going to be growing my Boston pickles on this trellis this year. So prayerfully they'll do as good as the very first time when I started growing cucumbers. And then over here on this trellis over here by the oregano, and I also have a tomato growing right there. I transplanted the cucumber munchers, and then there's some shallots right over there. And then right over here, I transplanted tender green cucumbers, and they're going to be growing on this trellis. Well, my strawberry bed is looking a little better, and I'm harvesting strawberries today. This is my basket of strawberries here, so it's doing pretty good. have some bug damage, but I'm able to harvest. If you get out here early enough before the birds get out here, then you're able to pick your strawberries. So these are really big. I like to freeze my strawberries and put them in smoothies. So let's go on over to my row garden. So over here in my sitting area, I have fruit trees and also flowers. And look at this little tiny pomegranate that's growing. It's so cute. And more strawberries and cherries. I can't wait till I have a cherry growing. And it looks like my mandevilla is starting to get flowers, so I can't wait till it blooms out. And my mango tree, look what's growing at the bottom. I'm so excited. This is some sedum that I had growing near the front driveway and in some other planters. And it just started growing in this planter, and I think it's awesome because I don't like weeds. I like this sedum. It looks beautiful. Probably just have to add more fertilizer so that it won't take up the nutrients for my tree. And there's a couple of more rose bushes that I have to plant out. And tomatoes are getting bigger. This is definitely not the bush tomato that I thought was planted. So to attract butterflies, I planted this flower right here. It's gonna get bigger and bushy and look beautiful. And then here are my tomatoes. This is one row of tomatoes and they're doing really well. I even have tomatoes that are starting to grow. There's tomatoes. Tomatoes. Look at all the tomatoes. I can't wait. I'm getting so excited about all the tomatoes, guys. Tomatoes, yay. And my peppers in my row garden are doing really well. I've already got nice peppers on them. See the peppers? Well, let me see if I can show you the baby peppers. They're starting to grow. And these peppers right here, what's the name of these peppers? Let's see. These are the Sugar Rush peppers. And I didn't plant a whole lot of them, but I do have more to plant out that's in my she shed, and I'll be bringing those out shortly. And these are just green beans that I have growing in some of the spots from last year, and more tomatoes growing in this row all the way down. And these are my green beans that you saw just a couple of weeks ago. And look, they already have flowers. It grows so much. We had a little bit of rain come through, so I was so happy that they're starting to fill out. And I'm going to be planting a lot more green beans this year because I want to be able to give some away and put some away. So yeah, lots of green beans planted this year. Well guys, that's it of the tour, and as the garden matures, I'll be giving more weekly updates and show you what I'm growing. I'm going to be putting out my squash and all different type of vegetables this year that I want to try. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Happy gardening and God bless.